welcome back to the program. It's been a busy week in Washington for Donald Trump, and after President Macron from France, Keir Starmer yesterday. Today it is Vladimir Zelensky from Ukraine meeting Donald Trump at the White House, and we've had a spectacular press conference, and things did not go as planned, and an exchange with J.D. Vance that is going to leave people wondering what the hell is happening. So let's have a look here at this press conference.
And now I'm talking with my friends in Poland, and they are worried that you align yourself too much with Putin. What's your message for them?
Well, if I didn't align myself with both of them, you'd never have a deal. You want me to say really terrible things about Putin and then say, "Hi, Vladimir, how are we doing on the deal?" That doesn't work that way. I'm not aligned with Putin. I'm not aligned with anybody. I'm aligned with the United States of America. And for the good of the world, I'm aligned with the world. And I want to get this thing over with. You see the hatred he's got for Putin. It's very tough for me to make a deal with that kind of hate. He's got tremendous hatred. And I understand that, but I can tell you the other side isn't exactly in love with, him either. So it's not a question of alignment. I'm aligned with the world. I want to get the thing set. I'm aligned with Europe. I want to see if we can get this thing done. You want me to be tough? I could be tougher than any human being you've ever seen. I'd be so tough. But you're never going to get a deal that way, so that's the way it goes. All right, one more question.
Hey, I want to respond to this. So look, for 4 years in the United States of America, we had a president who stood up at press conferences and talked tough about Vladimir Putin, and then Putin invaded Ukraine and destroyed a significant chunk of the country. The path to peace and the path to prosperity is maybe engaging in diplomacy. We tried the pathway of Joe Biden of thumping our chest and pretending that the President of the United States' words mattered more than the President of the United States' actions. What makes America a good country is America engaging in diplomacy. That's what President Trump is doing.
Can I ask you?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So he occupied our parts, big parts of Ukraine, part of East and Crimea. So he occupied it on 2014. So during a lot of years, so I'm not speaking about just Biden, but those time was Obama, then President Obama, then President Trump, then President Biden, now President Trump, and God bless, now President Trump will stop him. But during 2014, nobody stopped him. He just occupied and took. He killed people. You know what the contact line?
2015.
2014.
2014 and 2014.
2014.
Yeah. So
I was not here.
Yeah, but
that's exactly right.
Yes, but during 2014 till 2022, the situation the same. The people have been dying on the contact line. Nobody stopped him. You know that we had conversations with him. A lot of conversation, my bilateral conversation, and we signed with him, me, like a new president. In 2019, I signed with him the deal. I signed with him, Macron and Merkel, we signed ceasefire. Ceasefire, all of them told me that he will never go. We signed with him with gas contract. Yes, but after that, he broken this ceasefire. He killed our people, and he didn't exchange prisoners. We signed the exchange of prisoners, but he didn't do it. What kind of diplomacy, JD, you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Count once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military? And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, Everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's exactly
Remember
what
this.
you're doing.
I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very
you will
good.
Feel influence.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From the
it.
very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a good
Brown,
position.
I
You don't
was
have the cards right now. With us, you start having
not playing
cards.
cards.
Right now, you don't.
I'm very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
what do you
You're
think about?
gambling with
What do you
World
think
War
about?
III. And
You-
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
I'm
That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once this
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank
Even
you?
today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of
what are you speaking
America
about?
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country's
Can I-
in big
can I-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this
We
cabinet.
gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
We gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about West?
If you didn't have
You
our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
Maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I
Again,
tell you.
just say thank you.
I said a lot of
accept
times
that
thank
there-
you
accept
to
that-
American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's
I
very
understand.
important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the
I'm
cards.
thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying.
tell you
You're
again,
running
I
low
know.
on soldiers.
Don't-
Listen,
don't please,
you're running
Mr.
low on
President.
soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then
President.
then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I wanted this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what-
That
what
wasn't
this
with me.
means. It
That was
wasn't
with
with you.
a guy named Biden who was not a smart person.
But this
That
is
was
your,
with,
this
that was
is
with
your
Obama.
president. It was your president.
Excuse me. That was with Obama, who gave you sheets, and I gave you javelins.
Yes.
I gave you the javelins to take out all those tanks. Obama gave you sheets. In fact, the statement is Obama gave sheets and Trump gave javelins. You got to be more thankful, because let me tell you, you don't have the cards. With us, you have the cards. But without us, you don't have any cards.
One more question to Mr. Vice President. I'm sorry.
It's going to be a tough deal to make. The problem is, I've empowered you to be a tough guy. And I don't think you'd be a tough guy without the United States. And your people are very brave. But you're either going to make a deal or we're out. And if we're out, you'll fight it out. I don't think it's going to be pretty, but you'll fight it out. But you don't have the cards. But once we sign that deal, you're in a much better position. But you're not acting at all thankful. And that's not a nice thing. I'll be honest, that's not a nice thing. All right, I think we've seen enough. What do you think?
What's
huh?
this negotiation?
This is going to be great television, I will say that. All right. We'll see what we can do about putting it together. Thanks.
All right, So that was a surreal moment here in this press conference in the Oval Office between Vladimir Zelensky, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance. And, from the get-go to talk about Zelensky, he looks absolutely cooked out of his head. I don't know what happens when he lands in Washington, but I'm sure they had some nice surprise for him. But Vladimir Zelensky essentially sabotaging here a potential peace deal. And very surprising, of course, because he came there potentially to sign this peace agreement, and now he has sort of made sure that this is not going to happen, at least right away. And, as we were saying in our video yesterday, it doesn't really matter for the US or the UK whether this peace deal actually goes through, because for the US, for the UK, their strategic goals have been achieved with this war in Ukraine, creating a divide between Russia and continental Europe. Now, Zelensky here, of course, he doesn't want this to stop, because how is he going to be able to launder billions of dollars of American and European money if the money stops flowing, if the peace deal is negotiated, and if the war stops? Then his future, his political future, his financial future will be over. There will be no more President Zelensky, because, of course, he has run out his mandate. There hasn't been elections in Ukraine over the last year. And whenever a peace deal is going to be reached, then it will be the end of the war, the end of the martial law in Ukraine, and there will be new elections, and Zelensky will not be president anymore. And so he is the one who has the most incentive in seeing this peace deal not go through. But, as we were saying yesterday, don't forget that Vladimir Zelensky, he's someone who has been put there in place by the forces in the UK and the US to make Ukraine side with the strategic interest in both the US and the UK. And now we're seeing this, and it is theatrics. It is all theatrics. And don't forget that you have someone, Vladimir Zelensky, who's a professional actor. You have Donald Trump, who is the host of one of the most successful TV reality show in the US. And these guys are putting on a spectacle. And now that we've witnessed this fight between J.D. Vance and Zelensky and Donald Trump, where Zelensky, throughout the press conference, was interrupting Donald Trump and then sort of contradicting him and adding his point of view, sort of in direct conflict with what was being said, and the dynamic and direction that the talks were, that Donald Trump wanted to sort of take this press conference at. The conflict, this sort of open conflict to end the press conference, now leaves as a scenario essentially no peace deal in Ukraine. The fighting will continue, and perhaps Zelensky will come back when he is quote unquote ready for peace, as Donald Trump put in on Twitter and True Social. And of course, this plays out in favor of the US. The longer this keeps going on, essentially the better the worse the deal will be for Ukraine. What will happen next is that the fighting will continue. Russia perhaps will gain more territory, and next time Zelensky comes back, then the deal that he would have gotten today will be it'll be a worse deal than this one. Sort of like what happened when he was in Istanbul before the war started, where he negotiated with the Russian a peace deal that was sabotaged by Boris Johnson. And Zelensky had taken that deal back then, the same thing that he would have gotten today would have been at the table, meaning Ukraine would not join NATO. Ukraine would have to remain independent, but Ukraine wouldn't have lost its territories. And now we are years later, and Ukraine has lost 20% of his territory. And when this war continues, next time Zelensky gets an offer for a new peace deal, then Ukraine will have lost more territory, and they will have even less, they will have to give up more of their rare earth minerals to the US. So, as we were saying, you know, the US, the UK have a great incentive to make this war continue. Zelensky has great incentive to make this war continue. And now this spectacle, these three theatrics from the Oval Office, where it almost feels like something that is scripted, where they are doing a scene, rehearsing a scene in front of the cameras, and essentially creating this open conflict. Oh, now there's not going to be a peace deal, and now the US is going to move away, further away from Ukraine. Europe is going to have to pick up the mantle and do the heavy lifting in this fight, and the US will sort of move away, and next time that the US will come at the table to try and negotiate some kind of peace deal, they will get more than what they would have gotten today. So a bad move for Ukraine, a good move for Zelensky, a good move for the US and the UK, a bad move for Europe. And it is sort of dynamic that has been going on in this war in Ukraine since the beginning. It's Europe, continental Europe, that's being played out from all sides, from the US, the UK, and the Russian side. And the concessions that they will have to make next time there is an opportunity to bring an end to this war will be even more than the concessions that they would have made today and the concessions that they would have had to make in Istanbul in the first time. So this is a next chapter, I guess, in this Ukrainian conflict, and this is not ending now. We will have to continue and keep watching to see what unfolds next. But that's it for today for our video, because that's the only event that they're gonna do here. The post-meeting press conference, I'm guessing, is going to be cancelled, so they're not going to do that. And we'll have to leave it here for today when it comes to this situation on the Ukrainian war and the peace talks. But thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see all of you on the next one.
Hit me with that like and sub to the channel. Hit me with that like and click the effing bell. Click that little right. The algo recommends for sure you gon' like. The algo knows you well. Hit me with that like, subscribe to the channel. Hit me with that like and click the